All right, Donald Trump not wasting any time mapping out his return to the White House. The president-elect giving his first rally-style speech since winning re-election, telling thousands of his supporters his plans to ring in the golden age of America.
We're going to give them the best day one, the biggest first week, and the most extraordinary first 100 days of any president in American history. The golden age of America is upon us. They're calling it the Trump effect because even before taking office, we're already bringing in the jobs and opportunity and safety and common sense back to the USA. Your border is a disaster, what's going on. And you just have a few days to wait. We're going to be fully operational, I would say, by about 2 o'clock on the 20th. We're being ripped off at the Panama Canal like we're being ripped off everywhere else. This complete rip-off of our country will immediately stop. Woke has to stop because along with everything else, it's destroying our country. Woke is bull.
Yeah. Tyrus beat that out at the last minute. Thank you, Tyrus. And as Trump lays out his plans for the next 4 years, most Americans appear to be on board. A new Fox poll shows that 55% of voters are hopeful for the country's future, compared to 43% 3 years ago. That includes Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman, who is actually calling out members of his own party who are rooting against the president-elect.
I'm not rooting against him. If you're rooting against the president, you are rooting against the nation. And I'm not ever going to be where I want a president to fail. So country first. I know it's become maybe like a cliche, but it happens to be true.
I love it. I wish more people felt the same way. Well, let's start off, Kellyanne, if we can. Some of the things the president went over is I'd like Greenland. I'll take back the Panama Canal if you don't change your fee schedule. Iron Dome for the country. How about deport criminal aliens, finish the wall, and death to DEI? It was a pretty good speech.
Pretty good speech. I think in part because of President Trump and his victory, DEI is DOA. Lots of companies unraveling their programs. They found out they're super expensive, super counterproductive. You're telling people already who like each other, work together, invest in each other's lives, personal and professionally, that they're actually racist and xenophobic and sexist and all the rest. But Donald Trump's having fun. I think that this is where the country wants to be now, optimistic, forward-looking, hopeful. There was another round of focus groups done by a Democratic firm, and they discovered that among Democratic rank-and-file voters, many of them couldn't even bring themselves to vote for Kamala Harris. They looked at her as inauthentic, inaccessible, negative, not particularly competent, phony, phonetically challenged, not particularly working hard, doing well as vice president, and so on and so forth. So I think you see these two contrasts, and people made their choice. Look, President Trump, when he gets up and he does these rally-like speeches, he's actually giving you his list of priorities, and people should listen. I think the most fascinating thing happening right now, whether it's in the form of Panama or Denmark or Greenland, Mexico and Canada, is President Trump using tariffs for a third reason. Traditionally, they're used to raise revenue, they're used to protect vital American industries. He's now saying, I'm going to use them as a tool and a bargaining tool to compel or incentivize your behavior as a nation on other things. Pay your NATO dues, get your criminals and your drugs out of our country. Start participating so that this country is not paying more, not paying our fair share and everybody else's unfair share as well. So I think it's fantastic, and people already look at him as the president. We have a president commuting sentences and letting criminals who murdered children not be on death row anymore. And we've got the other one telling you what he's going to do in the first week. He said the first week, first month, first 100 days will be active in a way that this country has never seen.
No, I hear you. Also, Lisa, you brought up, hey, Mount McKinley, we're bringing it back. He's bringing up Eisenhower. He's bringing up Teddy Roosevelt. He's hearkening back. Actually, Andrew Johnson was the first one to try to get Greenland. So Trump was on his game. He seemed to be enjoying himself yesterday. I never remember him smiling so much.
Well, I think he's excited. I mean, you see the love for Donald Trump. It's not just 2016 love. I mean, this is pre-president love for Donald Trump when he was an American icon, a titan of success, beloved by the rest of America. But, Trump has said that success will unite the country, but so has Joe Biden's failures. Right? I mean, we're united behind that. We had to be hit in the face with failure to recognize that we had a good thing going. Well, we didn't, but a lot of Americans did. And if you look back and look at some of the resistance that Donald Trump faced when he headed into 2017, The Steele dossier was published by BuzzFeed 10 days before he was sworn in. Right? And so if he was able to accomplish as much as he did during his first term with that active resistance, Russia, for 4 terms, impeachment, the special counsel investigation, all of that, think about what he's going to do now that he has the American people behind him, now that he has the popular vote behind him, now that he has defeated the resistance, defeated the media, and was able to bypass them as an outsider that he was with the trip to McDonald's, with podcasts and et cetera. So I think the golden age is upon us, and that's what we're going to see these next 4 years.
I think we know exactly what he wants to do, getting out of the box. I think he's going to be strong. You know what he also pointed out, Tyrus? Young people voted for him.
Yes,
and most of the young people were in that audience yesterday, and they were pumped up to see him.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the same rally feel. I felt like it was guest speakers. Horatio Marin was there, whose daughter was killed by illegal immigrants. And then you had Ted Cruz pop up there, Tom Holman. But I felt like he was laying out a format instead of saying what I promised.
Well, I think that one of the cool things is I'm hoping that he adds the Cayman Islands to the pickup.
Just for you personally.
Just for me personally.
Tired of using the visa.
Or, if he's looking for an ambassador for Cayman Islands, I might know a guy.
Right.
But this euphoric
Herschel locked up Bahamas.
Yeah, well, he can have it.
Yeah.
The water's
Not
not as
into that?
clear. But
Gotcha.
I digress. The thing is that you don't need a poll right now to step out and see how Americans are feeling. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone's optimistic. And I think the biggest additive, the most to his success is the fact that he's bringing in people from all walks of the political spectrum. And so everyone feels they have somebody in the game. And then he comes out with these rallies and they're super positive and he's feeling good. I got a feeling these rallies are going to keep going, where he's going to check in and let everybody know how it's going. And the fact that he's got the other side so rattled because he's not going after Democrats. He's going after that old guard, the people who are try to do the old things to get him, like, oh, he's co-president. Those things aren't going to work anymore. He's battle tested. He's survived 2 assassination attempts, maybe more that we know of. He sees life a lot slower now. He understands what's important and not. It's not about grievances. You're not going to get him out and say, I'm the only true president. Elon and Vivek, get out of here. Those days are over. He's seen it. No, we're seeing it.
Yeah.
He would not have he doesn't have the kingmaker anymore like he did the first time to calm him down. We got her. But he's using that experience. It's when you hear him talk, it's not an anger, it's not a frustration, and the American people are feeling it. Everywhere I go, it's the same thing. It's like, we got this, good things are happening, and we like to see the corruption side of politics nervous.
Make America fun again.
Harold, when I heard Fetterman speak, even though you have a much better wardrobe, I thought I was hearing Harold Ford. I'm still a Democrat, but I'm going to work with him where I can.
Well, first of all, Merry Christmas, everybody. Good to be hadn't seen you guys in a little while. Seen Tyrus. I hope you get the Cayman Islands. That will be great for all of us here. Just speaking, not personally, but just
President might be
speaking.
watching.
We'll visit.
I get it,
It'll be in the next week.
You can't not root for the president when you're in the middle of a transition. Even after an election, voters have spoken. I think people elected this president on a couple of grounds. One, they want the border fixed, and some around the table have mentioned that. They want this issue of drugs and crime, drugs coming across the border, the crime coming with it. They want it tamed. I think a lot of voters in those battleground swing states made that very clear. Two, they want the cost of things to come down, their groceries, insurance, housing. This was a basic election in that regard, is that people made a calculation on that. And the president campaigned on resolving things around the globe. We found ourselves entangled in places that we needed to be because our interests were at stake, interests were being threatened. And the president said he's going to find ways to fix it. He has put together the most diverse cabinet from an ideological standpoint we've seen in the last 30 years. You have union supporters in there. You have Democrats in there. Who would have thought a Kennedy would have been supporting the Republican and a Cheney would have been supporting the Democrats in this election? But that's where we are. I didn't hear a lot about Greenland in the election. So I understand. I think the president is
Panama Canal.
in the Panama Canal. Perhaps it has. You can weave that into something bigger. But I think the calculation voters made, particularly Democrats and these young voters and black voters and Hispanic voters and Asian voters who went for the president in larger numbers than we've seen those demographics go for a Republican. I think they're looking for the president to address those 3 sets of issues. And I'm rooting for him to have success on those 3 sets of issues. If he does not, like our political system always works, and Kellyanne and Tyrus and Lisa, Brian, we all know this, that's where the tension will begin to build. But I hope if the president is willing to work with people and he's willing to do the things, is going to do the things he said he's going to do, there's one Democrat sitting at this table, and I think even in Pennsylvania that we saw interviewed there, who will say, Mr. President, hail, let's keep down this great path that's going to make America stronger.
Yeah, I hope 47 reaches out to Fetterman and says, where can we work together? Tell
I
me
don't
where
have
you're
a
at.
problem with his dress code at all.
You don't have
That Senate confirmation would be
Tyrus Ford, Cayman.
Yeah.
Cayman Ford.
Absolutely.
Non-paying.
Right.
Non-paying.
But he wears the suit when he goes to
Yes.
the Senate floor.
Yes.
All right. Meanwhile, ahead, a horrific scene in New York. You talk about an illegal migrant allegedly sets a woman on fire inside a subway train.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.